I'm a black man trying not to get caught. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw. You know it's a big world, so easy to get lost. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw.
What's going on, y'all, and welcome to another episode of The Jigsaw. I am Josh Rogers.
I am Brian Hare.
And we are back to do it all over again.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. This is the show where we talk about the perils, the praises, the productivity, and the pomp and circumstance of being a real-life black person in America. Brian, how are you, brother? That was a deep breath.
There's so much going on right now. If I were to be honest, I'm not doing well.
That's fair.
You know, oftentimes we try to say I'm wonderful. I'm not doing well. You know, the whole Breonna Taylor sham of an indictment, happened. So I'm not, great. But with all that being said, I'm still a great day to be black. So, yeah.
You're still here.
Still here.
You're still here. That's what's up. Today's my birthday.
It is.
For those who are listening, it'll be tomorrow. My birthday would have passed. You can still cash at me at JJR89 if you want to send a blessing. But I knew that the indictment, whatever it was supposed to come today. Mm-hmm. And kind of selfishly, I chose to not engage it.
Right.
Because I just wanted to maintain some pocket of joy on my birthday. And I knew in my mind, in my heart of hearts, I knew that it would not be what it needed to be. Mm-hmm. Now, I read the articles. I saw, what the charges were and how there was more life preservation for the walls in an apartment than it was for human life. So I saw all of that and I was like, you know what, Josh? Don't get in. Because I could, you know me. I can be black too.
Listen.
And I just chose not to engage. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, brother. I think it's going to be hard, right? Because a lot of us have to go and sit on these Zoom calls tomorrow and smile and be professional and do the work while our hearts are breaking.
Right.
And there was still no justice. So.
None whatsoever. Yeah, because I know I'm going to have to sit on a Zoom call with a bunch of faces. And usually after these moments, it's it's evident that the black folks are like, ugh. And then, non-black folks is like as if nothing happened, while the black folks are just, eyes rolling, just don't want to be here. So, should be interested to see how these Zoom calls turn out tomorrow. Okay.
So on a lighter note, let's go a little bit lighter. Let's kind of on the same.
Let's lighten it up.
Let's lighten it up. So on the kind of on the same note, I heard that you watched Woke. You finished it.
I did.
Okay, so now tell me real quick about how you feel.
Joshua Rogers, I think I found my new favorite shows on the television.
Yeah.
I think I may have found it. I love everything black, and especially when it comes to as far as breaking down our culture, our thought processes and stuff like that. I think Woke has definitely done that. I binged season 1. It's only on 8 episodes, 30 minutes each. Yeah. So those of you who are listening right now, I'm going to, challenge you. We're going to challenge you to watch those shows. Because hopefully at some point we will be able to talk about it in detail. I think it's a great show. I thank you for your recommendation.
You are so welcome. I don't think that I would ever steer you wrong. I am particular about my television. So all the people who are listening, all you black folk, all you white folk, all your POCs who are not black, and everybody in between, right? Go watch it. I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. I think they bring comedy and a lightness to a very serious but real subject.
Yep.
And as Brian discussed, we have some plans to hopefully talk about it real soon in detail. But speaking of that, new things that are coming, we're introducing another new segment that's coming to the show, and it's going to be called the P.O. Box.
Yes. Drop something in the P.O. Box.
Drop something in the P.O. Box. And this is really just your opportunity to write in questions, present us with information or cases that you want us to have our opinion on. So if your boyfriend getting on your nerves and you want a man's opinion, you can write in. If your husband is trash, you can write in and tell us how bad.
The juicy tea of it all.
Right. If your girlfriend is, boo-boo garbage, if you want to be in an entanglement but you don't want to admit it, whatever the things are, Brian and I are willing to discuss them. We're willing to talk about it. Or even if you just want to know, kind of like how we started off, how do I get on these Zoom calls, get on these Microsoft Teams meetings, navigate workspace when my heart is hurting because of Breonna Taylor, right? There could be weeks where we'd be like, we don't know.
Listen,
we just don't know because we're trying to navigate it ourselves. But we want to be able to offer a space while we're not therapists, and we will not be held accountable for whatever advice we give you.
This is not therapy. It is just what we think,
Right. It is our little piece of wisdom as we all, this is what the podcast is about, right? We're all trying to navigate life together. And with the wisdom that we've gained over the years, we want to kind of take that and give it to you. So you can start writing in. Our website will be ready soon. But for now, if you have a question that you want us to read, and we're going to keep it anonymous, so everyone will have a pseudonym. So your real name is Charlotte, we probably call you Betty or something,
Barbara,
or Roxanne.
We should give everybody old names.
Delilah, Delia.
Good old names.
Earl and James, them kind of names.
Ethel May, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but no, everybody will get a pseudonym, so you don't have to worry about, your coworker or whatever knowing who you are. Right. Now, the amount of details you put in here, we cannot control.
Listen, if you put where you work, we're gonna try to edit, but come on,
we're gonna try to edit it. But if you start describing how the grape room looked and all that kind of stuff, then daughter, you set yourself up.
You try describing in detail your partner's body parts and all kind of and birthmarks.
Birthmarks and listen. But yeah, we're excited about that. We're excited to hear from you.
Oh yeah.
And if you just want to write in and just tell us how dope we are,
please.
We want to hear that.
Gas
too.
us, please.
We gas us up. And you know one of the ways you can gas us up? I'm gonna go and say this in the beginning too.
Go ahead and do it.
Go and give us those 5 stars on those 5 stars on Apple, because somebody gave us a 4.
That devil's a lie.
I don't know who you are.
That devil's a lie.
I don't know who you are, but give us 5 stars. Write us a positive review. That really helps us push the show. Now, for this week's Song of the Week. Are you ready for it, Brian?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Well, as you may know, I am the more ratchet one of the group. And this week's, it's last week we celebrated the aunties with Dionne Warwick now. But this one is dedicated to my friend and my brother, Mr. 2 Chainz, featuring Lil Wayne with his latest hit, Moneymaker. He samples, I don't know the name of the song, but you can have a piece of waiting for you.
I think that's a guy.
Girl, it's true. I do. Yep, that's it. Are we gonna sing every week? I don't know, but I like it. But no, I think the song is super, super dope. He has I don't know what band. He shouts out Southern University first. Mm-hmm. So let's go out and jump on a limb and let's just say it's Southern.
Okay.
He shouts them out, but even in the video, he has this montage of all these different bands and homecoming and field moments, and it's just beautiful Black excellence while he's talking about shaking your moneymaker and the twerking and the throwing it in the circle of it all. Mm-hmm. It is I think it's a great song. I think they did the sample justice. I am not a huge fan of Lil Wayne's verse. He's been
struggling.
He's very much so lean, lean Wayne.
Prayer warriors, please pray Wayne out of that situation.
He is on the sick and shut in list. But no, I think the song is dope. So check it out. Brian, you ready to get into some Black excellence?
Yes, let's do it. Let's bless up at this moment.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, we are here with the Bless Up report, where we give out shout outs to our beautiful Black excellence, people we are doing great things out in these streets. So first, I have 2. One, I'm going to talk about Stefan Hawkins, who used to work at McDonald's, but he changed up things and he's now gone into vegan as a vegan restaurateur. I think that's how you say it. Before I go further, Joshua, how do you feel about vegan food?
It's food.
Okay. Well, you from the South. I know you want meat.
I like fatback in my greens.
But yeah, this brother, what he's doing is he's has this restaurant called House of Vegans, and basically it's in Philly at this point. So if you're in Philly and you want to try some good vegan food, go check him out. Him and his friend created this restaurant. Healthy, good, comfort food. I believe it's gonna be delicious. So I can't wait to get to Philly. When Rona stop acting like something, and I'm gonna go check that food out. So I'm looking forward to that. I know vegan is a thing. It's a vibe at this moment. So
it's a thing, and I can vegan when I want a vegan,
right?
But I'm just not finna take away all of the things,
right,
that is required to be vegan.
Listen, I like my meat. I like I like the cheese. I like all that stuff. Give that to me, please.
All of the things,
please. Yeah, so check that out if you can. Shouts to Stefan Hawkins and his team. Second, bless up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I give a bless up to my good brother Joshua Jamal Rogers the first.
Oh, he said my entire government name on Cicely Tyson's internet.
The first. So we couldn't do a good bless up without shouting out this black excellence. That I call my good partner, my brother, and my friend.
I appreciate it. So, I am so humble.
Humble. Without
so
the H.
humble without the H. And appreciative of that. Millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. I was, because Rona been killing people who had never been killed before.
People are just flying up out of here, aren't they?
They flying up out. They getting their wings. As in a blink of an eye, they getting their wings. And some folk ain't made it to 31. I done had high school classmates that done died.
Listen.
I done had college classmates that done died. And the Lord saw fit for me and my little ratchet self to still be here. I got work to do. I got work to do. But no, I appreciate it, bro. I really do. 31 has came in good. I received a lot of love from a lot of people. All the shout outs, the texts and the messages, and people FaceTiming. A couple of people they didn't want to just text, they just sent videos and prophecies. I was like, all right.
Speak it to my life.
Speak. The Cash Apps, I will say it again. You can do it at $JJR89 and I can receive them there. Feel free to send me $31. No, for real though. I appreciate all the love. Appreciate you, bro.
Of course.
For, that shout out. I appreciate that.
Of course. Now it's time to go to the billboard. So are you ready?
Let's head on over because we got some stuff to talk about. So let's get the serious stuff out the way.
Okay.
So let's give out for real rest in peace to
definitely.
the original OG,
a legend.
one of the real original OGs of our time anyway, of the Supreme Court, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She just passed away. I want to say, was it Monday? It was either Sunday or Monday, but it was relatively recently, and we want to make sure that we recognize her, offer up prayers to her family, all of her friends, all the ones who loved her the most. We do know that she was not always as progressive as she was toward the end of her life, but we understand the magnanimous impact that she had specifically on women's rights, and the fact that this raggedy administration is trying to very swiftly replace her when they did the same critique to President Obama when he tried to do that and stopped it. But we're not gonna get into the nastiness of all of that. But we did lose a giant. We lost her at a very interesting time before this election. So I definitely want to again offer the Jigsaw podcast wants to offer our prayers and our thoughts to her family. As they navigate, even trying to grieve a loved one in the middle of a pandemic, that's been hard. That's been hard. I lost an uncle, so I understand how that can be really hard to navigate. All right, so we also told y'all that last week that Belle Calise and Kiari Cephas was getting a divorce, and what we learned was that the divorce was not because of alleged cheating rumors. Barty got on Instagram Live and said, "Thank y'all for your prayers, but I don't need them because I'm not
save them
She said, "Save, I am not sad. I'm not shedding a tear." She said that, as far as she knew, that she was not being cheated on. And she also said that Offset was very bad at cheating. So she was like, if they were true, we all would have known at the same time.
Right.
So again, while we do not celebrate divorce, I wanted to update y'all on that because that's what the people said.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, that was what the people said. And she was just honest. She was like, they got to a point to where they were tired of arguing all the time and tired of being mad at each other. And before, she said, before he went and cheated and did anything crazy, let's just end it. Right. So it seems like they still have love. Cardi has been very vocal about how Offset has been an amazing father. So we probably won't see any changes with them in that form domestically. Right. But it always is sad to see, especially a black family separating.
Definitely.
But prayers up to y'all again, but update, and we hope y'all continue to be mature about it. About it all. So the Emmys were this weekend, Brian. Let me ask you this: did you watch the Emmys?
No.
Okay.
The Emmys,
that is fair.
on the list of award shows that I watch, I think the Emmys might be on the lower list of the award shows.
Is it before or after the Oscars, though?
I actually watched the Oscars. So
the Oscars are disgustingly boring.
Well, it is boring, but it's like the fact that I'm a movie person. I love movies.
Okay.
So I kind of want to see, honest, and there's some movies that get nominated for Oscars, and I don't really watch the Oscar nomination show or whatever, so I don't really know who's really nominated. So I really find out who's nominated, kind of, unless they black. I find out, during the actual show, and then I kind of find out, what's supposed to be good and what's not good, and I go back and watch, and most of the time I'm disappointed, because most Oscar movies aren't really that good.
They are not.
But yeah, it's the Emmys is.
So is it before the Tonys at least?
I don't watch the Tonys.
Okay, so you do enjoy the Emmys over the Tonys?
Yes, the Emmys is over the Tonys. I think the BET Awards are probably at the top because it's just black.
Okay, that is a black response. Man, a guy say that BET was his number one
award show. Just because I know the winner's gonna be black. I can rest assured, unless I think the one year they gave something to Sam Smith, but we believe in inclusion in the black community.
We do, unless it's John B. and Gary Owens. They may be the other two exceptions, right?
But yeah. But the Emmys, I don't think I've ever watched the Tonys Award. I've watched different clips because I do love what's the brother from Woke? Not Woke. Pose. Billy Porter.
Billy Porter.
I love some Billy Porter.
Billy Porter.
I love some Billy Porter.
Fabulous.
He is fabulous. So I've watched clips of him doing things at the Tonys, but I've never actually watched the Tonys. So
was the Tonys where he had the hat that detracted?
That big old thing on his head. He's something else.
Listen, the grandness of it all. Listen. But going back into the Emmys, this year it was extra black. And they set a record of having the most black award winners ever. I think it was like 7 or 8 people that won. And on that list was, of course, our queen, Regina King.
Thank you, Jesus.
She won outstanding lead actress in a miniseries for Watchmen. Maya Rudolph, Cephas Jones, and Eddie Murphy. They won guest starring Emmys, and it was actually, to my surprise, Eddie Murphy's first Emmy award.
That is kind of surprising for all the time he's been on TV and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the thing about it, part of it wasn't surprising because he hasn't done a lot of TV outside of SNL. But then the ironic part was that he got an Emmy for being a guest star on SNL.
Right.
So there was the irony in that. And then with Cephas Jones, he was able to share the moment with his daughter, who also received her first Emmy of her career.
Beautiful.
So shout out to her. And then we also have Uzo Aduba. She got outstanding supporting actress in a miniseries, I think, for the role she played with what's my girl? Shirley Chisholm.
And that's black excellence. That
is black excellence.
Listen, a black woman who's a great actress playing an amazing icon in Shirley Chisholm. So that's dope in itself.
Shirley Chisholm is by far one of my favorite historical icons.
Yes, I could
just her tenacity and her proactiveness and her boldness and even in her campaign. I know this isn't about Shirley Chisholm, but even in her campaigning saying if they don't give you a seat at the table, you bring your folding chair, right? She was just emphatically black and present and unashamed and bold and just everything. And I love Uzo because she was also Crazy Eyes and
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite shows. And I bring that up to say she has so much range.
She does.
To go from crazy, like if anybody watch Orange is the New Black, she was like a mental patient for the most, like
Crazy.
for the most part. And to like to really authentically play Shirley Chisholm, range.
Yes.
The range of it all.
Yeah.
Is something you're gonna add to
Yeah,
that? Brian?
I love Uzo. I really would love for her to play Nina Simone. I think she would destroy that role. I think she would do a great job as Nina Simone.
Yeah, because as much as I kind of like, what's the little girl who's in Drumline?
Zoe
Saldana.
That wasn't it.
Girl. That wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
And matter of fact, most of us ain't like Zoe Saldana syndrome. Since Drumline. She ain't been that black since Drumline. But anyway, yeah, I think that would be dope. Because Uzo can sing as well. So that could be something.
She kill it.
And then we also got to shout out Zendaya.
Yes, God.
The youngest ever to win in her category. Ever. She won Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama. And it was so exciting to see her journey and for her to progress from where she was, Disney Channel, all those things, Kid Star, to now this beautiful black woman just killing the game.
Yes.
And we're here for it all. Now, the downside of the Emmys was that our favorite show, Insecure, I feel like they got snubbed a little bit because they got 8 nominations, but they did win 1. And they won Outstanding Single Camera Picture Editing for a comedy series, whatever that means. But if you can see Brian's face,
eyes rolling.
But the thing about it was the scene that they won was the scene when Molly and Issa finally had lunch.
Oh, that was a beautiful episode.
I think episode 9.
Yeah, I think that's the one
like
that Kerry Washington directed, I want to say.
Yes, and that's the scene that got them that award. It was a beautiful episode, and you can tell it was like single camera because it was focused like directly on them the entire time. But like my girl Issa didn't get lead actress.
False.
My girl Yvonne Orji did not get supporting actress in a comedy series. There was a few other things that it was like the music, like they got nominated for like best music or something. Like Insecure has some of the best music.
Yes, hands down.
Music. Hands down. So I feel like they got snubbed, but like Issa is absolutely a genius.
Yes, I love her.
And I feel like her time is coming.
Yes.
And I do think that she'll probably get nominated for more stuff because she's Issa.
Yes.
Because she's ventured out into movies and stuff like that. But I also think Insecure has its time too. Speaking of, did you see her post about season 5?
Yes, I saw it's coming back.
It's coming back.
I also saw a post that was hilarious that I guess she reposted. And somebody was like, "Oh, those pages look real thin. She gonna give us a measly 30 minutes again." Give us some longer episodes. Insecure is like, woke. I like woke, but Insecure is my favorite show on TV.
Oh, absolutely! Right now, it is my
favorite show. Like I literally fall in love every episode. They highlight blackness, the beauty of blackness. It's like I feel like I can hang out with Molly and Issa. I feel like a part of the show. Even the drama is like still like classy drama.
It is.
I think Insecure like paints us in our realist self. I don't know if that's really right, but also the
I hear what you're saying, though.
But the beauty of it all, like it's like if you look at our circle, like we're Insecure. Like that's what our life looks like,
And Issa, if you're listening, can you please give us a lot more Kelly? Okay, because Kelly,
she's the gym.
Well, Brian said that he could see himself hanging out with Issa and Molly, and I could too, but I would be trying to find all the time to be with Kelly.
She's the gym. Mm-hmm.
My favorite moment will forever be Coachella when she got tased and she laid in that ground and said, "Remember me different." I can almost cry now thinking about the laughter that fuels my soul.
Yes, it's a great show.
And I heard like she's one of the writers, and she also said like she does a lot of like impromptu. What's the word I'm looking for?
Ad libs.
There it is. She does a lot of ads. She says she doesn't do a lot because she doesn't want to take away. But like the "Remember Me Different" part, like stuff like that is like stuff that she just does. Like, and it's great. Right. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. So shout out to Issa and Insecure. You are winners in the hearts of Brian and I don't know that means anything, but you are winners.
Somebody.
You are somebody. Okay, and this is like part 2 of Bless Up. This is your honorary Bless Up.
Yes.
Honorary Bless Up. So Brian,
okay,
I sent you some links.
You did.
About Humans of New York.
You did.
And Miss Tanqueray. Did you read any of them?
Can I be honest? I haven't read it.
You did not.
I haven't read it yet.
It's okay.
I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it, though.
It's okay.
I'm going to read it.
So for all of y'all who are hip, for those who may not be, go on Instagram, go to Humans of New York. And read about Miss Tanqueray. She is a former stripper from New York. She's in her 70s now. So I think it was either earlier this year or really late last year. So Humans of New York is this Instagram page that highlights just these amazing stories of New Yorkers, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're like one post. Sometimes they're over a series of, 4, 5, 6, up to 11 or 12 posts. Mm-hmm. And I think Miss Tanqueray had like 2 or 3 posts. Okay. And the one that made everybody fall in love was that she was telling the story about how she was like she had interacted with this man. I don't want to say it was a sexual thing, but I can't remember the first story. But anyway, she interacted with this guy, mm-hmm. and because she hung around the scene with like a lot of gay people, a lot of transgender people, mm-hmm. drag queens, he thought that she was, I think, was a drag queen too. Okay. And when he approached, she said, "Baby, I ain't no drag queen. This is real fish." And I think, this is real. And I think that line alone, like, make everybody fall in love with her, mm-hmm. because you can see, like, she's this 70-plus-year-old woman, mm-hmm. who's just telling these really authentic, raunchy, almost unbelievable, but they're so raunchy that they have to be believable stories. And so, anyway, go check it out. And the reason why we're talking about it is because Miss Tanqueray was supposed to do a podcast with the gentleman who created just to tell her full story, but she got really sick. Okay. And so they're doing a 32 post, doing 32 posts to tell her story. And I've read up until I think the 10th one. Mm-hmm. I need to go on probably, I won't say tonight, but probably tomorrow and just get through the rest of them. They are so amazing. She talks about like how she suffered as a child with her parents, mm-hmm. and how she got into stripping, how she got into the bars, mm-hmm. and presidents that came and wanted to meet with the stripper. She didn't call any names. She said she ain't got enough money for that. She talks about how she went to jail and somebody read her palm before she left, and everything came to pass except the fact she was supposed to come into big money. Okay. But here's the thing: because she's sick, they did a GoFundMe for her medical expenses. Okay. They were only supposed to raise like $200,000. It's up to $1 million now.
Wow, bless the Lord.
So whoever this palm reader is, like, we don't believe in the black magic over here, mm-mm. But mm-mm. That woman was accurate. Everything has come to pass. So I'll try to put the link to Humans of New York in the description notes today. And if you feel led to donate to Miss Tanqueray after reading her story, we'll put that link in there too. So that we can, give your $5, do your contributions or whatever. Right. But get on it. It is absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about it again next week. So hopefully by then, I will have just like Brian watched Woke, he would have read Humans of New York. I'm telling you, you're going to be captivated, bro.
I'm sure.
I have not turned my Instagram notifications on for anything except this.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Those stories are so captivating.
That's big.
They're captivating. So last but not least, right here on the billboard is my spiritual mother, Lanithia Nene Leaks, sometimes known as Nene. Mm-hmm. Will not be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Sad day. How do you feel?
For those who know me, I feel a way. Okay. For those who know me, you know that Housewives is my guilty pleasure. I don't like to admit that I like it. Well, no, I'm past that. If there was a point, because when Ashley and I first got married, she was an avid Real Housewives of Atlanta fan. I couldn't even stand to have it on in the same room with me. But one day, we sat and watched it together. And I just got stuck with that mess and that shade. And now I'm the one that's like, Ashley, Housewives about to come on. So I will say, I know you don't really watch it like that. Well, probably don't watch it at all.
I watch it. It's a, Lauren watches it, and if it's a situation where it's on and she's watching it live, I'm not gonna like leave the room and like that. So I keep up with the show. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so there has been like I think 1 or 2 seasons where, and this is kind of recent too, where she hasn't been on. So I don't think the show is going to die, because what I also heard is that the numbers when she's on versus when she off aren't so drastically different that it makes a huge difference. Like the numbers aren't as high. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's not one of those things like, oh my God, where's Nene? So now she never said that she was never coming back. She just said she wasn't returning for season 13. This thing has been on 13 seasons.
I watched season 1. Like I remember when the show first came on.
I've never watched season 1. Right? I think I came in season whenever. So I've been probably out of the 13. I probably watched the last 8 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, the last 8. The last 8 or 9. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure they're going to bring some new girl in to kind of spice it up. Somebody's been rumored that they're going to bring Phaedra. I don't think that's going to happen because Candy literally hates Phaedra.
Yeah, Phaedra.
Because of the whole,
yeah,
that whole thing, sexual assault rumors and things like that. And I know that the show gets messy, but to me, that was a line that was just crossed.
Yeah.
And I think you would lose all of Candy and everything she brings if you bring Phaedra back. So I don't know. But shout out to the housewives. Rest in peace to the appearances of Nene Leakes being on the show. Shout out to you, girl. You know, as your song says, go get that money, honey. And let's be great. You ready to go to the living room and talk about some stuff?
Yeah, it's going over to the living room. Let's go.
Let's get it. So if y'all grab your drinks, grab your popcorn, your snacks, whatever it is, and let's have this living room conversation.
All right.
It's about to make a change. Do it with some soul in a little.
Alrighty, so the living room today. So Brian and I were ending the podcast last week, and in Black Man Self Care, better known as I Am My Brother's Keeper, the man of God said for his self care he was gonna go get a haircut.
I needed one,
and I, my curls are a little dry right now, but I went and got one too. Anyway. So, and when we got off, we started to talk. We was like, man, like we just started talking about the amazing experiences that we have at the barbershop, the ways in which a haircut really just changes, like your day, your attitude, and all that kind of stuff. So today's living room conversation is super dedicated to Black Man Hair Goals and everything that goes into it. So, Brian, like, do you even remember like your first ever haircut, or maybe not your first haircut? That was a while ago. Because the man of God, I just turned 31. Man of God is significantly older.
Significantly, I'm 35. Significantly, I think it's a bit much.
That is a whole grade level.
That's
like 9th through 12th.
Right.
You were out of there.
Right.
But no, seriously though. Like I don't remember my first haircut, but I do remember some of my very early haircut barbershop experiences. So like, what is your earliest barbershop haircut memory?
Sadly, I didn't start going to a barbershop until I was like an adult. Like,
okay, and interesting.
Because few reasons. My mom, single parent household. My mom wasn't trying to pay for us to go to the barbershop. So she like swore she can cut our hair, and she told us up. Like we looked a mess.
Okay.
Like looked terrible. And then after that, it was a situation where we were tired of looking like trash. So then we learned how to cut our own hair. So like I have an older brother, I have a younger brother. So we pretty much like learned how to cut our own hair. And then we cut each other's hair. And then like when I got older, I was, paying $25 for a haircut. I was like, I can buy these clippers for $25 and there's, and these clippers, these edgers, and I can do it myself. So I was, had bad haircuts for the most part, or I had my friends cut my hair for the most. So if you go back and look at some old pictures, you can tell like, I wasn't together. And the Lord blessed me. The Lord blessed me, and then I found the barbershop. That's a whole nother story about, that barbershop experience that was a front for a drug spot. But,
Oh, we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it.
But let me say, let me go. So to answer the question, the memory of my best barbershop experience was my current barber. Now, we're in a long-term relationship. As you know, we may talk about that later, but black men and their barbers is like a relationship.
Oh, it is a relationship. It is a marriage.
So I'm gonna shout out my barber, Anthony Jackson. He's been cutting my hair for a good minute, like some years on years, and he's gone to multiple shops and all that kind of stuff. And I've followed him to all those shops and have driven 45 minutes to an hour to different shops. So shouts out to you. So I enjoy my barber.
So my dad was an avid barbershop attendee, hair cutter goer, right? And when I came along, little Josh, time for my first haircut, I don't remember this like from memory, but I remember from pictures. So that was my dad's friend. We used to go to his house and I used to get a boosie fade, right? in this man's house, in his kitchen. And that was, I just remember that because my parents told me about it. There was a couple of pictures, but my first barbershop experience was with this guy named Reggie. Now, his breath was horrid,
tragic,
but he was a young barber, and we went inside the Southbrook Mall. All my people in Memphis, you know how hood the Southbrook Mall. It ain't nothing in the Southbrook Mall but abandoned movie theater, a record store that had the Lil' Kim hardcore posters all over the place. But this was like the 90s, right? So like that was music and like a salon, and it was literally like worse than a Greenbrier. It was like not worse as in it was hood, but not like hood as in you could get shot. It just was like an abandoned mall that only literally had 4 or 5 stores hanging in it, which was mostly like kind of service industry type stuff. But anyway, we went in there and Reggie would cut our hair, and he was an artist. I used to get Nike signs in my head.
Oh, you was that kid.
I was that kid. I got Josh cut in the back in cursive. I used to get JR. I used to get the Dallas Cowboy star. My daddy stopped getting it because he was like, that's that 5-point star, that's gang stuff. Because like gang members weren't like trying to differentiate between the Dallas Cowboy star and they 5-point star.
Right.
But I was that kid with all the design. I couldn't get designs on Easter because mama was holiness.
Holiness or hell.
No designs on Easter. But I was the kid zigzag. Parts starting here go all like. So how y'all doing these little parts now? I was the innovator. I was the emancipator. Y'all give me no credit. But no, I was like Randy. I was like Reggie, because Randy. Shout out to Randy. That's my current barber. I was like Reggie. I was like, man, today I don't just want the J. I want Josh. And like I see certain barbers today like have like these special tools. Reggie used literally the liners.
Wow.
And would like, and bro, and I'll tell you, it was like, it wasn't rinky dink. It was like from right here to here. It was Josh in cursive. And my dad we used to get our haircut every Saturday. Wow. Like every Saturday. And it was like $8 for me and like $12 for him. So, the man of God was spending $20 a week and throw him $5 tip like to get our haircut. So in that case, I grew up in a middle class type family. So $20 a week really wasn't no money. So we were able to go, and I was the only boy. Like you had 2 other brothers, right? I was the only boy. So my dad was like, cool. As we got older, Reggie moved to another shop, but then I think Reggie moved to a shop. He moved to another shop. We followed him. Then he moved to another shop in in East Memphis. My dad was like, I'm not driving all the way out there. So we went to the barber adjacent to him, Larry. And Larry was like black, like Hotep.
Oh, okay.
Umar Johnson type black.
Okay.
And, he was cool, but he talked a lot. He was real slow. And it was just one of those things to where it was a black barbershop. At the time, there were no appointments. So when I tell you, bro, we was literally spend upwards of sometimes 6 hours in the barbershop just waiting.
Oof.
So I saw my first Good Times episode in the barbershop because they had the DVD set. And I watched like season 1 through 3 because that's how long we were there. Right. I saw a lot of brand new movies in the barbershop.
The bootlegs.
The DVD man. And then in this barbershop, the back half of it was a beauty shop.
Okay.
So it was literally like the Ice Cube, I think, what was it, the second or third one, where like they were together. But it was like, and my mom was like, y'all barber just so slow. And I'm like, mama, he literally takes maybe an hour 15 to cut me and my dad. I said, it's just, we literally wait.
This is walk-ins.
We walk because it's walk-ins and whoever gets there. So, but there was a Tops barbecue right next door. So the people next door ended up knowing me and my daddy by name, knew I order because we would go there every day, get us a double meat burger with a double fry. If you're in Memphis, Tops Barbecue does not have the best barbecue, but they have some of the best hamburgers, bro. Oh my God. It's that good sloppy greasy hamburger that come down your beard where you got to readjust the bread because
that's I like a good burger.
It's when they put it in the bags that grease stain hit it. It's that kind of burger. And everything is fresh to order. Like you can see them shaping the ground beef. There ain't no circle. There ain't no perfect circle. That's an aqua shit. That's a real ground beef patty. And they give you two. They give you 2 pieces of meat. Glory to God. You can get 2 sides.
Yes,
and I always got a double fry. And you put a little salt inside of your ketchup. And you do. I'm reminiscing because I've been eating clean, trying to keep this dab out of the way. Because that burger just took me back. But no, that was Larry. And so Larry decided to take this excursion to Africa one time because, of course, hotel. Okay. And then he moved into his own shop that was like with his wife. So his wife did dreads and he did haircuts. But they had like incense.
I can just smell the incense. I was about to say
they
I can just smell
incense
it.
blowing and Erykah Badu playing and reggae. And he had like a Bob Marley flag in the back. And the only really great thing about Larry was that I wrote for my high school newspaper. I did an article on Kwanzaa, and he was able to give me all of the Kwanzaa tea. He even knew the founder. He knew the guy. He knew the guy personally. So, but my daddy was like, "Listen, this shop is not it." But then he ended up moving to like into deep South Memphis because he lost a lot of clientele when he went to his Africa excursion because he was gone for like months. So we ended up going to the barber my dad still goes to now, who I go to when I go home, which is Dale. Real good guy, cool guy. Cuts hair. Today, you can still get a haircut from Dale for exclusive cuts over there in Whitehaven, down the street from the Church Chicken, right there across from Debo's Wings. You can still get a cut for $25.
That's not bad.
And it's Brian, you went there for Chris's wedding. You went to the barbershop with me. So he gives a good cut. But here in Atlanta, man, I go to my boy Randy. Shout out to Randy Gordon. You can find him on Randy Cuts on Instagram. Great guy, real chill guy, about our age. Just humble, solid dude. But before Randy, I actually he coins himself as the barber star, Marcus Harvey. I got a lot of love for Marcus because to your point, Brian, I had years and years of professional cuts as a kid and then got to college and didn't have a barber, didn't have no money and was letting the little dudes in the dorms cut me. So you probably saw me a couple of Sundays at church with a real low cut because that's all they could do, and it just wasn't it. Then I found Marcus because he went to church with some friends, and he started cutting on campus because he wanted to build his clientele, but he was dope. He just didn't have like the exposure, and he built himself up like he is Nas's on tour personal barber.
Wow.
He cuts Grant Hill. He cuts Chris Webber. He did the whole cast of Survivor's Remorse when they were on TV.
That's what's up.
So like he's dope. And the only reason why I left Marcus is because of his celebrity status, he was increasingly unavailable.
Right.
And because if we're gonna talk about a little bit later, the loyalty, right? There were times like right now during the quarantine and the pandemic, like I definitely get my haircut like every month and a half or whatever.
Right.
But on a typical basis, I was still going every week. And then when I had my children, I started going every 2 weeks because money. Because haircuts in Atlanta are expensive. But yeah, so like that was the only reason we kind of separated was because of that. Just his schedule, man. And so I found Randy on Instagram. And, he's moved from Smyrna, which is cool. He went to Midtown to kind of, get that Atlanta feel. Then he went to Kennesaw, which is fine. Then he went to like deep Ackworth, deep Ackworth, like 45 minutes, like surrounded by nothing. Now he's back in Kennesaw. But throughout all the changes, throughout everything, like I've stuck with Randy since, let me see, Jaden is 6. And I think Jaden got his first haircut. So probably 7 years, about 7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to say, because Marcus come out here for my wedding. I've been married for 8. So I probably was with Marcus maybe another year and a half or so before I started letting Randy cut my hair. And it's just something about the barbershop, bro.
It's It's a magical place.
So let me ask you this: is your barbershop like a barbershop, or is it like a salon? Is it?
Okay, so when Ant when he first started cutting my hair, he was in a smaller shop. Then he moved to like a bigger shop that was kind of like a chain type shop. But no one would say it's a chain, but it's a black owned. The shop is called Fadeologist. It's like one of the biggest, best black owned barbershops in the county that I live in. Shouts out to Fadeologist. But it was so
they got black barbershops in Gwinnett.
Don't do that. He opened up a second location recently. Actually, he's your frat
in Gwinnett.
Yeah, he's your frat brother
in Gwinnett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shouts out to Fadeologist, but that so Ant was at Fadeologist, and Fadeologist was more like the traditional barbershop, bunch of chairs, a bunch of action, TVs everywhere, like the man's barbershop.
Yeah.
So that's how I was for a little bit, and then Ant moved to his own shop. So he actually decided, him and his wife, they decided to. She's a cosmetologist. He's a barber. So they pretty much kind of like we talked about Ice Cube in the barbershop. They merged.
And Regina Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that character. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they so in the back is the barbershop. And in the front is like the salon / nail.
I like it when it reverse, when they got to walk through us.
For obvious reasons. But then there's sometimes I like to walk through them. So
come on, after this hair is cut.
Listen, I walk through there looking
so you can see all of me.
Right. I walk in there looking all shabby.
With my sweatpants on.
Listen, I wore the sweatpants, Reverend.
The gray sweats.
The gray sweats or the sweat shorts, depending on what time of season it is. So I walk on through. I walk in all just humble, and because I look a mess. I walk in and get my hair cut. The magic happens. I walk out and I'm speaking to everybody. Everybody.
How y'all do? Have a good evening. Have a good weekend.
See y'all, sister. God bless you back clean. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So and heads do turn. So
No, I get it. See, what's interesting for me in Atlanta, I talked about Marcus and Randy. Neither one of them were in. Well, Randy more so than Marcus. So Marcus started cutting. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he was cutting at, but when he was cutting us at Morehouse, he set up shop. He used to come to Morehouse like once a week. Mm-hmm. Cut a bunch of dudes. And then he gave like these $20 college discount haircuts. Right. And for his level of haircut in Atlanta, because let's just pause for the cause here. In Atlanta, typically if you're getting just a regular $20 haircut, it's probably a trash cut.
Right.
Like that's just because the hair market here is different. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you go to a different market, like my friends in Memphis, $25, $30, you're probably getting a really great haircut from some of probably the best, maybe $40 max. And it's just the market is different. Right. Because when last time I went to Memphis, me and got my haircut, me and both my sons got our haircut for, I think Dale charged me like $35.
Wow.
For all three. Wow. 35 for it. Because it was like 20 for me. And I think he charged like 5 for the boys a piece. Because Josh and Jaden kind of were curls, so he really didn't do much. Mm-hmm. So, but I gave him 40. He was like, "You need some change?" I was like, "Nah." So he finally asked me this time, like, "Man, how much is a haircut?" I said, "What I just paid you is still like $20 less than what I would pay for myself." Right. I said, "I paid $60 for me." For me, he was like, "Man, what?" And I'm like, "What did you get?" And I told him like, I get my hair washed, conditioned, I get like the facial, I get an
experience,
razor line. You get an experience, right? You get an experience, and it goes up from there. Now there are some guys in Atlanta because of their status. I know this guy named Hawk. His minimum haircut is $100, and it's just a haircut. But because he's so exclusive and so much in demand, like you literally have to get on his books almost 2 months in advance. Wow. So you can talk about it as much as you want. People are paying it. Anyway, I will say that's how Marcus started off. Then he went to this Salon Ramsey, which is like, it's really what it was, salon. So it was a barber and beauty shop, but the interesting thing about it was no delineation of this side is barber. It was like the chairs were just mixed up. So Marcus was literally right next to a beautician.
Okay.
As we call it in Memphis. We ain't no cosmetologist, it's a beautician. Right. And that's just how Salon Ramsey kind of function. Now he went to a different Salon Ramsey. He went from the Buckhead location to the Midtown location, and it was the same thing. Like there was like a side, like on his where he was, there was like 3 barbers beside him, but he was still right across from a woman who did hair. And then there was like a tattoo artist in there and a nail tech. So Salon Ramsey kind of positioned itself as like this all encompassing grooming experience. Right. Now, when me and Marcus kind of parted, Randy was in a more typical barbershop, but it was in Smyrna, but it was a hood barbershop. Now, it was raggedy. And Randy was like the diamond in the rough in that joint. And I think there was some loyalty that he had to the owner, because they both were from New York. And this guy kind of showed him the way. But Randy was like, to me, the better barber. He is the better barber. But that was more traditional. But Randy was still Randy and Marcus were both appointments only. And that kind of changed the game for me. When I used to go home for the summers, I would be so irritated going to the barbershop, waiting for 3-4 hours, trying to find stuff to do in 3 hours, trying to time it, versus I go to you at 11. I know I can get there at 10:55, and within 10 to 15 minutes, I'm sitting in somebody's chair. Right. Or like with Marcus, like you would get there, but even if he still finishes somebody, he got the wash girl washing your hair. So by the time you're done under the dryer, he's pretty much ready to cut you, right? So like my experience in Atlanta is different. Now in Memphis, it is a man's typical barbershop. A lot of talking loud, sports, sex, TVs. All dudes in there eating chips and all kind of stuff. Versus in Atlanta, it's more of an experience. And now Randy is in a salon suite, so it's one of those buildings where everybody got kind of like their personal space, and that has actually made me and Randy become. Like, he's always been my guy, but now we're kind of like friends because it forces us to have conversation. Like, your barber will talk to you, but this kind of forced us. Like, me and Marcus were cool, too, because we knew each other from a church perspective. His wife was in the gospel choir that I sang in. So, we had a relationship, but, like, me and Randy, like, talk because he's not talking to nobody else in the shop. It's just me. Right. So, I guess, like, were you expecting something different from your Atlanta barber experience, or? Because
the weird things, I had different barbershop experiences, but when me and Aunt actually like connected, it was like, okay, cool. Excuse me. So then, when now that it's kind of similar to what you're saying right now, like his barbershop is in the back, but in most times or most cases, it's just him and I. So we do get into those like deep conversations. We actually talk about stuff. We talk about money and businesses and investments and just life. You know what I mean? So I think that's. So I had different experiences. I think the first barbershop I went to when I came to Atlanta, it was like one of those sports type things, and it was that wasn't really my vibe. And then, like I said, the one that was the front for the drug dealer.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Let's talk about that. All right, so
you was going to Ghost.
listen, I was going to Ghost. So what happened? So I used to live on the other side of town. And I'm not calling it the ghetto because it's a nice area, but it ain't where we live now. So I was like, you know what, because I was cutting my own hair, and it was just taking like forever. So I was like, let me find a barbershop. So there, some people opened up a barbershop around the corner. So I went over there. And then I was like, all right, cool. Like, what are your prices? They was like, oh, it's a cut. It's $12. I said, $12?
In Atlanta? Okay.
I was like, $12? And he was like, yeah, it's $12. So I was like, all right, bet. And he cut it, and it was like fresh. Like, it was a great cut. So I was like, okay. $12. So I gave the man like $15, $20, and was like, keep the change, brother. I was balling out. So then I went back like a couple times, had the same barber. Okay. Then you have your barber's cell phone number. You trying to set up? Cause I don't like just showing up to the barbershop and having to wait. I just do not like that. So I usually get the barber's number, and then I'm going to hit you up for an appointment. I'm not about to just be waiting. So I was hitting him up, could not get him. Was calling him, everything, could not get him. So I go to the barbershop one day, and I was like, yo, what happened to? I'm not going to say his name. What happened to old boy? Oh yeah, man. He had to leave for a little bit. So I was like, leave for a little bit, and I'm from a certain place. I know what leave for a little bit really means. So and then I called again, and I think he was able to call his cell phone and leave a message from prison and say, hey y'all, I'm out, I'm out here and doing blah, blah, blah. And I'll see y'all in a couple of months or something like that. So then I got another person in that shop. He was cutting my hair for a little bit. I hit him up. All of a sudden, I can't reach him. This man got locked up. I'm like, what is going on? I'm thinking like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So then they get another guy. Same thing. He gets locked up. So come to find out, they ended up buying like another establishment within the complex. They bought a restaurant. And then the reason why I first, I realized it was a front for a drug business because, who's giving good haircuts for $12? Like, mind you, full head, beard, everything. Like, yeah, $12. So then they bought this like restaurant, like this place down the street. And then, they had a grand opening. I went there and it was a Caribbean restaurant. And I was like, I want this, I want that, I want this. First time they had everything. Okay. Next time I go, I was like, yo, can I get this? Oh, we ain't got that. Oh, can I? And mind you, it was like on a Saturday in the middle of the day. I was like, I'm just leaving the shop. I'm going to the restaurant. I was like, hey, so you got this, got this? Nah, we ain't got that. I was like, so what you got? Oh, we got is beef patties. I'm like, all you got is beef patties?
That ain't got nothing else but beef patties.
I got his beef patties?
Okay.
All right. So then, the next week, come to find out, I see the police officers at the barbershop. Like, looks like raid type stuff. And I was actually about to go get my haircut. And then I saw all the police officers in the parking lot. And I just turned around as a black man. I turned around and then come to find out, I realized that, the dude, he had ended up, leaving town. And, but his barbershop got raided because there was, selling stuff out of the barbershop and out of the restaurant. They were trying to like launder money and stuff like that. So I miss my, drug haircuts because it would save me a lot of money.
Okay.
My $15 haircuts, because they were good barbers. Like, they were legit barbers. But it was like, you could charge $15 because you selling, coke on the side. You know what I'm saying?
They just need to clean that money.
Right. They just need to clean the money. Like, there was no... And it was, barber, the person that owned the barbershop got like a Bentley and all kind of stuff. I'm like,
off $12 haircuts.
$12 haircuts. And mind you, there wasn't a whole bunch. It was like there's a bunch of people that just in there. Like, and then the barbershop was just open like randomly at odd hours and like they in there playing pool and
you going there at midnight get a haircut.
Right, boxing. I'm like, what is going on here? I went to a barbershop that was a low-key
interesting
drug spot.
And that brings me to like thinking about like I guess the evolution of what barbershops are, right? Because both of us talk about while your mom kind of gave y'all the kitchen haircuts and y'all eventually learned. Like I started off in somebody's kitchen, even though he was an aspiring little barber, but like this kind of, and then eventually getting to like barbershops or whatever, and going to what we consider like the man's shop to what now in some regards seems like a salon experience. Right. Like, do you think like the traditional barbershops are going to ever like become extinct, or do you think there's going to always be a place for them?
I think there will always be a place for them. I think because I know some we know, and you probably know them too, those toxic masculinity, super macho men who they want to be in that like real aggressive environment where you just loud and you punching people and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm sure that's gonna be a thing, and like they want to just watch sports all the time. Like that's gonna be a thing. But I know there's people like like us who we want an experience. We want to feel beautiful when we walk out of the shop.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm not conceited.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
No, I think that's so true. Like, I feel like if Randy was in that, because when Randy first left, when he went to Midtown, he was in this place called Furious Styles, and it's kind of like a chain because it's one in Midtown, it's one in Kennesaw, it's a couple of other, and that's more like your manly man's. I mean, it's still appointment only, so it's not old school in the sense of, but it was manly man. Traditional shop in the sense of people coming there and selling shea butter and fresh fruit. And let me tell you something. All of the fruit I've ever bought at the barbershop has been the freshest, most delicious fruit. I don't know where these people. You remember when you went to Side Note? Remember when you went to Effect Fitness with me that time? We bought that fruit. Yeah. That fruit, that kind of fruit, is the fruit that comes through the barbershop.
Effect Fitness fruit is really good.
I don't know who that woman is, but shout out to you with that watermelon. Mighty God. Anyway, and she be having watermelon in the off seasons, girl. Where you getting it from? But no, like they be selling like DVDs and like whole place. Be like, all right, today we got catfish and greens, and we got you know what I'm saying, banana bread. Like it was, and like so it was that shop, and I think going to like while I appreciate like the intimacy, I don't want to say intimacy, but I'll call it that, of what Randy provides in like a very curated individual experience. Part of me does in some ways, I don't want to say misses the traditionalism of the barbershop, but does like kind of wish it was. I feel like what I got as a kid, Josh and Jaden don't have.
Right, I can understand that. I can believe that.
Because when they go to Memphis with me, they are, even now, my barber in Memphis now does appointments. I think the people have started to cry loud, like, hey, bro,
I can't.
you know, this 6-7 hour thing is ridiculous. But they are still irritated because they're like, we just sitting here, you know, all these people, ABC 1, 2, 3. And I just think, like, even in terms of haircut prices, like, I know there's going to always be a difference in, like, the South and the West Coast and East Coast. But, like, Atlanta to Memphis or Atlanta to Nashville or some of these other places are drastically different. Right. So I guess, like, for you, do you have a limit on a haircut price? Let me ask you that.
No, I think kind of similar to you. Like, I pay like $60. Like, the last time I went, I paid like $60. And I think I'm outside of those that aren't from Atlanta, those are from Atlanta, outside of the perimeter. So, you know, prices are different depending on where you are located, if you're like in Atlanta proper or you're in the metro. So yeah. I think my haircut technically probably costs like $50. Okay. But I always pay like extra because, you know, I got to tip a black man. Like I'm a tip, you know, especially our people. But I would probably continue to pay that. I don't think I have a limit. I guess, let me see here. So I think my limit would be depending on, like, say for instance, if I needed a haircut like badly. Yeah. Like I would be willing to pay $100 because like sometimes you just really need a haircut. There's some situations where like you have been there before where it's like, I gotta have a haircut. Like there is no, like there's been time I hit up Ant and be like, yo, I need you to open up the shop. Like it's an emergency, you know, unexpected interview, unexpected something, unexpected going out of town. Like I know you're off during this time. Is there any way possible I can meet you? I'll pay you like $100. Or even doing like quarantine house call, I was paying like $100 for like the house haircut. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think there's a limit. I would think because it's that important to me.
No, I'm kind of the same way. Like right now, I pay $60, and I won't say what I pay for my boys because he hooks me up with my boys, and I don't know who's listening. I don't know who's listening. But let's just say it's a grip when all three of us do get our haircut. But to your point, there have been times. I think that's the other piece too, building their relationship. We can go into that with your barber. Like there have been times like before vacation, and especially when I was in grad school, and we was leaving like on a Thursday, I'd be like, all right, so I got a class at 9, and Randy's be like, all right, meet me at the shop at 10. And he'll go in and open that joint up, and he wouldn't even like he has his after hours price is $100. It's his after hours price, but he would just like charge me regular price, and I would throw him like at the time when I first did, I think my hair was like $40 or $50 when he was in the little hood shop, and I would slide him like $60 or $70, just be like, I'm gonna give you a $30 tip because you know
saving the day
because Randy's also married with 3 kids. Like 3 small kids, and you're legit cutting my hair so I can go party and have a good time in Miami, right? And you don't have to do this. So like there are ways that I also appreciate him, which I don't say that I have to, but I want to be able to show like you don't have to be this guy to me. But let's talk about the whole relationship piece with your barber, because I talked about how I transitioned from a couple of barbers, but in Atlanta I only really had 2, and I have what I consider a backup barber, but he is legit only when Randy is like out of town, and I just cannot get squeezed in. Like there's no way possible for me to get squeezed in, and this guy is on the recommendation of Randy.
Okay.
Like it's almost like almost like an open marriage. It's like this is who I'm going to.
If you're gonna get a haircut.
If you're gonna get a haircut, you know what I'm saying? And only because too, I don't want to just go to somebody trash or go to somebody who's gonna mess me up or take away the pattern. But why do you think that it's so important to the black man, though, the consistency of that relationship?
I think it's sometimes there's so much uncertainty being a black dude. I think it's sometimes just great to have something you can always rely on. Like we probably know men, and y'all out there probably know brothers who know where they'd be committed to a woman, like like can't keep a relationship, probably cheat, all that kind of stuff, but they are faithful to their barber. Like, it's something about being faithful to your barber. And I think it's, if anything with me, it's just the fact of like, you kind of alluded to it, like they know you. Like, so if I go to Ant's shop, he can be like, oh, the same thing? And yep, same thing. Or even if it's like a situation where I want to, during the pandemic, I've been kind of, chaining some stuff up. I'll show him the picture. He'll be like, all right, bet. And he'll be able to do the thing like exactly the way I want it. Or he'll ask the question. He'll say, what you got going on this weekend? Right. And he always gives great cuts, but he'll be like, what you got going on this weekend? And I'll be like, oh, I got a photo shoot. He'll be like, bet. And then he going to give you that extra cut to where he going to take way more time than he probably would normally take to give me that fresh cut and make sure everything is like precise. Even though like the normal cuts are great, but he's going to say, oh, you doing this? Or you going out of town? I'm about to give you this. Because, I think it's another thing about his pride, like as far as not like in a negative way, but he wants to make sure that, when you walk out of the house or you walking somewhere, they're going to be like, oh, snap, who cut your hair? And black people, we gonna ask that. Like, who cut your hair?
We going to ask.
That's the thing, So, I think that's why I'm definitely committed to my barber, is that we know each other. We've developed a relationship, but he knows my hair. He knows my hair.
Yes. And I think that's the other piece too. Like, you know me, and you know what I want to represent. You know what I'm looking for, what I like. Because Randy, when I just got my haircut this past week, and I'm wearing like this mini kind of curly kinky fro, which I've never worn. I've always like wearing it kind of like curls on top sometimes, but never like all over.
Okay.
And he also knows, even when I just wear it on top, whether it's a low fade or a high fade or whatever, around this time, he's like, all right, we finna cut it off, because in the winter, sometimes I grow it out, but also sometimes in the winter, I cut it because even though it sounds crazy, but sometimes I cut my hair lower, like right in the winter, which is weird. And then in the summer. But the reason why is because typically in the wintertime, it takes me longer to get dressed. And that's because I'm putting on more layers. Oftentimes, like, I work, most of my jobs have always been downtown, midtown, so I have to park in the garage and get out. So I have a lot of different time things that I have to take into account. And the winter oftentimes slows that down because of like, you got to warm, especially when you park in the garage, you got to warm your car up. You got to do these other types of things, right? So I get my hair cut lower, even though more hair would keep it warm, because it's less maintenance. Right. I can just brush it, put a do-rag, boom, 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 boom. So, like, to your point, he knows that. So it was like, this signaled it. It's like, you ready? And I'm like, nope, I'm going to keep it. Or like you said, in the summertime or in the spring, he'll be like, same way, like because he's like waiting on me to signify some type of change. Otherwise, I'ma do it. And like you said, there are times where I don't even have to book the special appointment. I just be like, I got a photo shoot this week. He'll be like, okay, cool. And he just start doing stuff. Or there have been times, one time he asked me, be like, hey, you my last appointment. What you got going on after this? We're like, nothing. Be like, I bet. And he'll start doing like all the steam on my face. I mean, everything, just because I was his last appointment. I'm a dedicated one, or it's something that he want. Like, it was one time, I think, when he first did the steam, I had never seen him do it.
Okay.
So I felt like I was one of the guys that he tested it on, like how he wanted to perfect it.
Okay.
And so when he said I was his last one, I ain't had nothing to do. I was just getting a haircut that Saturday. Like, he did it. And it was like things like that, because we've built relationship, friendship, and not to say that I'm the only one, right? Like, but at the same time, like, I don't think you're the only one. Barbershop relationship is almost they are open marriage.
Listen,
they they cutting tons of people, but in that moment, I felt like, said, this is my brother. I want to do this, blah 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 blah. And I think although there are plenty of jokes, I think that is the real thrust of it, right? Like they know us, they know our hair, they know how we want to present. And sometimes, like I don't like when I even go to my backup barber, I am thoroughly explaining what I want. I'm like, I want you to do this. I want you to taper it like that. I want my beard like this. I want blah, 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 blah. And because my beard is relatively new, the only thing I tell Randy is like, unlike my brother Brian, he flourishes with the James Harden.
I am.
I'm like, cut it down to my face. I just want you to be able to see it. But that's it. I've only had to say that once since growing it out. And now he just, it's kind of by nature. That's just what he does. Unless I tell him I want it thicker. Or like when I started growing my goatee, went from the mustache to like, all right, let's connect it, right? But I gotta say it one time, and that's it, because I go so often, and I do, and it's just something about the barbershop, right? I think we kind of alluded to it, that gives you this confidence. And it's like I wear my hair curly, and I have bought the same products that Randy uses, and it's something like, I can curl my hair great.
Okay, yep.
I can do a good job at it. But it's something about when he does it, fresh out of the, like, I'm like, it don't ever be like that,
Never. Like, when I leave the shop, I want to go random places.
Oh, I just want to go somewhere.
I want to go random places, and I want just everyone to see me. I want everybody to see me. I want people to know me.
You gonna see me.
I want you to see me. So because it's like you said, it's you can never recreate what the barber does, and that's what I think how great the barber is. Is like I don't know what I would do without my barber.
Me either. And I think I told mentioned you. I feel like I've walked into the barbershop with a measly pimple and walked out and be like, it's not even there. It's like my skin clears up.
Glowing.
I look bright. I look like I'm glowing. I look brighter. All these different types of things. But I really just think it is a real part of the black man's like overall confidence and life experience is the barbershop and your hair.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask any black man, how do you feel after leaving a barbershop? And they would probably say, like, if you did a survey and you said, before you came to the barbershop, how do you feel? They probably would say like a number between 1 and 10, like 10 being the best or whatever. They probably give you like a 5 or 6 or whatever. But as soon as they get out that chair, they definitely gonna give you a 10. They gonna say, "Oh yeah." You just feel better at the level of self-esteem when they hand you that little mirror. And you like checking out to see if they made any mistakes and stuff like that. Like you just feel like on cloud 9, like your swag level is just increased by like 1,000,000.
And even the guys who get the trash haircuts, like they are confident. I've seen the guys on Instagram be like, and I'd be like, you went to the barbershop?
You pay for that?
You pay for that? You and your barber both need to go to school. You for your eyes and him for skills, because clearly somebody ain't doing something right. But no, I feel you though, and I think like in turn we hear a lot about, and I love our black women, right? About like their natural hair and all these other kind of things, but I think there's some credence that has to be given to black men and their hair and the many ways in which I think it's just a black person thing too, right? Yeah. The many ways in which that we can do it, like we can go from like I can literally, like I've done two photo shoots within the same year, and I almost look like a different person. Because on one, I got a really low haircut. On the most recent one, me and you did, like I got the curly fro, like you know what I'm saying. And then I got pictures that are not, they're maybe a little less than a year old, where I got like a fade. You know what I'm saying. So it's just like I can switch it up quickly, and like our hair, you give us a month, our hair can really grow. It can be looking, and to the point that I said earlier, I can get a design, whatever. I can go out and get a braid. I can start locking it. I can, do a myriad of things just with the cut alone, from the fade to the mohawk to whatever. Right. And I just think that our ability to navigate what our hair looks like is also a part of our beauty and our excellence, even as men.
Yeah, and I think hair is like as you married to a black queen, I'm married to a black queen. And we know that hair is important to them. Like, our wives would change up a style quick. You know what I'm saying? Quickly. Braids one day. You may get braids. One time Lauren got braids like one day. She didn't like them. And she took them joints out and did her own. So it's important. But I think as maybe as important as hair is to black women, I think hair is important to black men. I think even, those that know me for the longest time, I didn't really start experimenting with my hair until like recently.
Real recent.
Real recently. Like, I mean, I wore waves, the same style almost, I may have cut different fades, styles and stuff like that, but I usually just had waves for the longest time because I was just like, this is my look, this is how I present. But now it's kind of like, especially now that I'm been on my whole just whatever, let it rock.
Because y'all gave me a hard time. I used to walk up in the church because I used to come in there sometimes with different haircuts almost every week.
Man, the guy had a mohawk one week, and then he had the Boosie one week, and then he would have like all kind of stuff. So we definitely was looking at you like, all right, bless you, man of God.
but that was a part of, I think, me like falling in love with who I am and who I was becoming at the time. It's just like the exploration of my hair and not caring, right? And finding the beauty in wearing the mohawk while still being the preacher or whatever. Right. But then, getting my waves back. I was like, just give me a week. Right. I'm gonna have them back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I got kinky hair, but I can lock them waves. And my daddy tell me I got so many products in my hair. I probably changed the very DNA texture of it. But again, like me and Asher, like under our respective cabins, she got her like leave-in conditioners, and I have a whole set of stuff for me too. Like because I work out a lot too, so I wash my hair a lot because my hair sweats. So I'm putting leave-in conditioners, and I'm using hair lotions and all these other types of things to make sure that my hair is not dry, it's not brittle, it's not whatever, right? And I think, again, while we probably don't still put as much effort as women, I think the amount of care and love and whatever that black men give is kind of is lost because we're expected to be men and just brush it.
Nah.
Just, but nah, I can't just brush it. I can't just brush this. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. It takes time. It definitely takes time. And I think like you said, as far as same thing with me, I have a whole host of products. And then on top of that, I got like beard products too. So my hair products and my beard products are two different products. So, and it takes.
Oh yeah, I got a beard balm now.
You got a beard balm?
I got a beard balm now. I do.
But it's a legit thing. And kind of while we're talking about that, as far as the process in the grooming, and even let's kind of merge that with the barbershop. How has the process or the grooming process within the shop has changed from just getting the regular haircut, shape up, and you out to where you might get a whole experience? What is that like now for you?
So my first experience with like any kind of experience was my barber in Memphis, my hometown. He takes like a towel with alcohol and kind of like scrubs your line, I guess, to like get the excess dirt off your face or whatever. Right. That was it. So when Marcus was like, "I'm gonna wash your hair," and I'm like, my hair's not dirty. Like, cause I was a guy who I wash my hair after a haircut, and unlike our white brothers and sisters, we don't have to wash our hair every day. It's just not what we do, and so let's start there. So for all of y'all who want to know about hair, come on in. We don't have to wash.
We don't wash our hair every day.
The only people, I think men probably do it more than women, but for me, I wash my hair probably almost every day, or at least every other day, is because I work out and I work out really hard. Right. So I sweat, and I don't want stinky, smelling hair. Nah. So I wash. But this is why the leave-in conditioners are so important, so it can consistently be moisturized and things like that. Right. And you just use really good shampoos too, right? So I don't use Head and Shoulders.
No.
It's about it's the expensive, almost $15 bottle of shampoo that I need. I need the milk and the
oil,
the argan oil,
the coconut oil, the argan,
right? That's in the shampoo. But anyway, I think it has really changed from, like you said, you just literally getting in the shop and getting a dry, just, they cutting your hair versus, I think at minimum, most barbers are either like cleaning you up in some type of way or washing your hair at minimum. Right. Most barbers, because I know some guys who still ain't getting their hair washed and getting nothing done. But I think it's rare, specifically in Atlanta, to not get your hair washed. But then, like you said, for me and you, like, if it's wet, it got to get dry. So I will sit under a dryer. I'm getting like my beard treated So there's a facial component to open, and then it's not. And I think the facial is part of the experience, but also to open up your pores. Because there's black men, like our hair is kinky, so it can, ingrown hairs and things like that. And it's like getting the hair loose, so it won't be irritated once the razor hits it. So it's like it's an experience, but it's also a science. And I think as time has evolved, we've learned the ways in which we can better groom.
Right.
So I don't think it's more so like we just making these men pretty, more so that how can we, number one, yes, amplify the haircut experience, but also make sure we're giving them like good care for their hair and their skin as well.
Right, yeah. Because same thing with me, like my barber did the same thing as far as facial treatments and like steam, and then he even like washes my beard as well. So he does all that beard wash. And then on top of that, he's really educating me on like what products to use and stuff like that to make sure I got, sufficient, moisture and stuff like that. And I get massages as far as, I don't know if your barber, I think your barber does put the towel on your face. And then, then the vibrator, not vibrator. What's the thing?
Mighty God, I know what you're talking about. The pulsating, like the shock thing. Yeah. And
then like he does is like he massages my shoulders, and then on most occasions, depending on how busy I am, I might fall asleep in that chair because it's like
I fall asleep almost 95% of the time.
Like he puts the chair back, and and he starts, cutting and freaking putting the towel on. And he puts this little drop of this little scent. I don't know whatever the scent is, but it like smells like lavender or something like that. And then he starts the massager, and I just feel like it opens up my pores and everything like that. And then just it's a legit experience. But it's interesting because I wonder what some of the previous or older generation would do with that type of haircut, like, or that experience. Would they embrace it, or would they kind of run from, all of that?
So I think like, the most previous generation, I can speak for my dad. He got his haircut with me at my wedding. So he went through, he loved it.
Okay.
He enjoyed, and I think for him, it was just one of those things like he didn't feel like demasculated or anything. He was just like, man, this is dope. He also said, I don't know that I would pay $50-$60 every week to get my hair. But he also understood why, like after going through it, it made so much sense to him why I paid $50-$60.
Right.
He was like, and then at some point he was like, so he was supposed to come to Memphis in March, but of course Rona messed that up. It was coming for his birthday. And I had actually paid for him to get, so Randy has the $100 haircut that is after the hour, but he also has a $100 elevated experience haircut.
Oh yes.
And I had booked the $100 for his birthday. I was like, my pops, I'm gonna go out. And he was ready. He was so ready.
JB was ready.
Yeah, he was ready. So I think you have, and my dad's a man's man,
definitely,
right? So
definitely.
So I think there's one regard to where, but my dad is also, again, he was the guy who went and got his haircut every Saturday though. So he was also, while he doesn't care about like super material stuff, he's very sure about how he presents.
Right.
Like he wasn't getting his hair cut in Rona, but he went and bought him clippers to line up because he wears a full beard to at least line his beard up. So like he's very in tune with how he wants to be. He don't wear wrinkle stuff. Like even if he go into the store, he gonna iron the shirt before he leave the house. Like it's just him.
I see where you get it from.
And I think he got that from. Yeah, and I got it from my granddad, before he passed away, retired, but put on full slacks and a button up to sit in his living room all day.
Wow.
That was just him. He was like, you don't know where you're going to ever have to go. So you put on clothes every day. So he'd probably be so pissed at me during the pandemic.
How about say?
He's like, I don't understand why you have on shorts. I mean, while my grandmother kept working, my granddad didn't. Like when he retired, man, a guy retired. Now he will go up to the cleaners that he managed, like on a very like once every other month basis to kind of just help out and like earn a few extra dollars. But for the most part, when we spent summers with my grandparents, we were with my granddaddy during the day.
Okay.
And that was him. I'm talking about, bro, like slacks and a Ralph Lauren button down or a Champs button down, cologne, fresh shave.
Wow.
Pocket protector. I mean, all of it.
Wow.
Just to sit down. Shoes and everything. Laced. I mean, not even house shoes. Like laced up every day. Fully starched. My grandmother still worked at a clinic, so fully starched. every day
not
that was
killing
just him. So I think because how my dad grew up right, he would be okay. But I do think there's another side, you know, of men who probably be like, this is too much. I mean, even the men who still frown upon manicures. Like when I'm on Instagram, and I know we're going a little bit off topic, but I think it's worth it. I'm on Instagram and I see men in their 30s saying first time at the nail shop. I'm just like, you 30 something?
Right, you're like missing out on life.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you got to go and like go every other week or, you know, like I try to do, but you know, but I am saying like you've been so wrapped up in the fact that it's gay or it's whatever to get a manicure that you've waited 35 years, almost 40 years of your life, you know, because of that. When I go in that shop, most times without Asher, I am very confident. They're like, what you want, sir? I'll be like, manicure, pedicure. You want shine? No, buff, shiny. I don't want your polish. You know, but you know, I know what I want. I know why I want it.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? I think men just have to get to that space where because I do believe there's going to become a time, like, right? I talked about the difference between my barber in Memphis and my barber in Atlanta. And when I told him what I pay and what, you know, and the things that I get, I do think while he may not ever charge $6 for a cut, I do think as other barbers around him elevate, it's going to force him, right? Because at some point, be like, bro, you ain't washing my hair. You ain't blah, 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 blah. You're not this, and the third. So it's going to kind of force him to do it. So I think slowly it's going to change. But I also think, you know, while Memphis is a major metropolis, it is also a very southern city. So I think there are ways in which Memphis may be behind that Atlanta, even though Atlanta's the South, Atlanta's Atlanta.
Atlanta is definitely
right. You know, let's just say that, right? So I think you can even go to a Nashville, which people kind of say is, you know, more advanced, or, you know, a Charlotte or a Houston or a Dallas, and you're still going to find some very southern. Because I think I saw a post on Facebook where people's like, man, if you pay more than $4, you get ripped off. And I'm like, I don't think so, right? And these people are in Houston, like, which has a very similar cost of living in Atlanta, but I think the hair market and stuff is different, right? So if you want to cut hair, if you're good, come to Atlanta and charge $80.
Yes.
And you could do
Easily.
it, right? You know what I'm saying? Easily. And you don't even have to cut from 8 to 8 because my barber cuts at like 7 in the morning to like his last appointment's at like 5. And he's off Monday and Tuesday.
Wow.
And he's off Sunday he cuts Wednesday through Saturday. And he's able to take care of his wife and his 3 kids. And he be wearing like J's and like the man of God ain't struggling. And because I know Randy, he's also not putting on. So like, like he's living well, very well. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I definitely, I think hopefully, you know, I couldn't imagine like just having the regular basic haircut. I got to have everything.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, thank you for having this conversation with me. I think this was dope. This was like my brainchild from your, from your Black Man Self-Care. But I do think it's important, right? Like our crowns are important.
It's important. Black men's hair is important.
Black men's hair is, of course. So, kings, if your women are telling you that it don't take all that, you tell them to hush their mouth.
Hush.
And you tell them worry about your hair.
Right.
And make sure that your natural curl pattern is together before you start talking about mine. Because, bro, sometimes I come out the shower and I put that leave-in conditioner. I see it all glistening.
Brother.
And my skin be popping. I be like, oh.
Brother.
Look at you. What's the dude that's on?
Mr. Hotspot?
Mr. Hotspot. Look at you. Look at how you looking, Josh.
You look good.
You look good. Come on, smile.
Smile. All right.
All right. Oh man, but all right, that wraps this up. Let's get into some Black Man Self-Care in I Am My Brother's Keeper. Let's go.
Woosah.
Woosah. Woosah.
All right, here we are at I Am My Brother's Keeper, Black Man Self-Care. So I'm going to actually ask you, Josh, what are you planning on doing this weekend for Black Man Self-Care?
So, since I just turned 31, on my birthday, I've actually recently celebrated my 1-year therapy journey last month.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. It has been so helpful. I think I've been a better person and less of a word I won't say on the podcast.
All right.
But no, seriously, I celebrate that. And one thing that I started last year is that on milestone moments, I try to go. So my birthday, I actually had an appointment on watch night or excuse me, I'm a saint. We say watch night, New Year's Eve.
All right.
On New Year's Eve. And I feel like it's just those moments where I am my most introspective and I'm thinking. So I went today, and it was helpful in the sense that I don't feel like I felt better, like I had this big discovery, but she really helped me think through like some of the ways that I've grown from 30 to 31. And Kim takes great notes. So like she was able to think through some of the goals we set at 30 last year, and really process and think through like, and so I think I'm going to continue this weekend reflecting and spending time with, I've been spending plenty of time with my family, but really spending time in a more intentional way, right? Because one of the things that I talked about for year 31 is to have this continued upward trajectory of relational growth.
Okay.
And specifically what that looks like in a pandemic. I think Corona has forced us to be together in ways that we're not always used to or comfortable with. And because this may be our normal for a while, how can we take these moments and maximize relational value as we continue to navigate new spaces? So that's going to be something I'm going to be intentional about as I go into this weekend. What about you?
I missed the J work last weekend.
You did.
I did. So
you did. I wasn't going to even say that, but I thank God for your accountability.
So I'll definitely be there this weekend. So I'll be doing that. I got to do some yard work. That's not self-care. But I know that's just responsibility. I can't even say I don't really know what I'm going to do, like to take care of myself. Maybe it's some time of, maybe just having my wife see if she would just watch my daughter for like a little bit, and just because I watch, I'm not saying I watch her. She's with me every single day, morning, noon, night. She tries to come in there with us in the middle of the night, so I'm with her all day, every day. So maybe it might be like just an hour to just put my headphones on, listen to music, just zone out, and just find my zen. But I think that's going to be my self-care thing, just to sit there and just put it on some music and just zone out for a little bit while I'm by myself.
That's what's up. And now y'all heard him say he was coming to work out.
I'll be there. But can y'all meet me there, though?
Everybody come. Everybody come. Link is available on the website, so go ahead and do it. But that's what's up. Let's go ahead and let's have a greater conversation, because I got some stuff that I got to get off my chest. I'm going to try to make it quick, but let's go there.
All right.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
All right, so here we are. Let's just do this, Brian.
Please.
Because I don't have a lot of capacity. Like I say, I've been trying to own joy.
Right.
And it has been the world is proving to be the dumpster fire of trash that it is. So who I want to talk to is the CEO of Wells Fargo. Now, this gentleman, I'm trying to choose my words wisely again here, but this particular joker here said that the reason why, right, there aren't any or many black people in higher positions is because there's a limited pool of qualified black applicants who apply. So Mr. Charles Scharf, that's the CEO, that's his name. That's what I was trying to conjure up. Bro, I don't even know what to say to him. Like, there are so many amazing black men and women in really high positions already. Like JP Morgan Chase just elevated someone to like a senior level position. That's a financial institution. There are so many people who I know who are qualified with MBAs and doctoral degrees and just years of education and experience who are probably more than qualified. So let's just say that you are, because first of all, as a CEO, you're probably doing very little hiring. So let's talk to your director of HR and the people who are really fielding these resumes in and probably dismissing people based on their names or whatever sense or whatever. That's what I'm looking for. Whatever like basis of pointless criteria that they're pointing out there and overlooking resumes. I probably can go to my LinkedIn connections and find you about 20 solid people who could work at Wells Fargo like this.
Easily.
and be in senior level positions. I'm not talking about tellers. I'm not talking about just a branch man. I'm talking about like senior level corporate positions. Right. You know what I'm saying? So for you to actually, and then you want to, backpedal and apologize for it. Bro, you said it now. Right. It's out there now. So at this particular point, like, you can miss me with this. And I think what's so frustrating about it is that in the midst of all of the social justice woes that we are facing, in the midst of every single thing that we're going through, the injustices, the lack of indictments, the lack of prosecution for all these people, here you are with somebody who holds the money of millions of black people saying that basically he's saying black folk ain't qualified enough to work for me. That's what you said in a very roundabout way. Because for you to say there's a limited pool of qualified people, what you're pretty much saying is that all the really good blacks are already hired and everybody else, isn't qualified enough. Right. You've completely lost it. I told my wife, you need to take your money out of Wells Fargo. So me and my wife have our own individual accounts. We also have like our separate kind of spending accounts, and hers is, a college account she had with Wells Fargo. I was like, it's time to snatch it, because if he doesn't feel as though we're good enough to work for him, then we also are not good enough to have our money in that institution. Right. So I don't have a lot of energy to give you other than to say that you are trash. And I hope that all black people pull their money out. And I hope that your black level executives and your board like really pull you to the carpet. Because I don't want to say quit your jobs, like, because that's your livelihood. But I do hope that they really pull you to the carpet and drag you for the filth that you are. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. We actually have Wells Fargo Bank. So I've been we bank black. So we have multiple bank accounts, but I've been,
get it out of there, Brian.
We gonna move.
Get it out of there.
We have to move. But yeah, like I think, like you said, I don't have with everything going on, I don't have really the capacity to feel like I can go in, like I really want to go in. But some things just need to be said, and in moments you have to show what side or you were, not necessarily what side you're on, but speak your truth. And Daniel Cameron, if those who don't know, he is the spineless Attorney General of Kentucky, who, in an effort to try to appease those who accept him, or in an effort to try to grow in the Republican Party, he did not give a black woman justice. And I think an issue, and we say it all the time, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Is that how we say it?
That's right, because they not. That's right.
This is the perfect and prime example of where you have the opportunity to give someone justice. And instead of giving them justice, you gave them, and you gave someone who needed to go to jail, you gave them an out. You gave them, what do they call it? Wanton endangerment. You know what I'm saying? What is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it is, but in the grand scheme of things, like Breonna Taylor, the settlement that her parents, got was not justice. That is not justice. You literally said that the shooting of this complex or what have you, that was the issue. Not the fact that y'all murdered or even if it was an accident, y'all killed this woman. Y'all have not admitted to the fact that you killed this person. Like, you have still haven't admitted that you killed this person. And then there's out of the 3 people who should have been indicted, 1 person was indicted under some whack charges. However, a couple months ago, when people came to protest in front of your house, 87 people were arrested, and you gave them all felonies. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. You want to indict this person under some whack. And the thing is, he didn't even do it. You allowed the grand jury to do it. Like, you sent it to the grand jury where you easily have the power to prosecute these people, and you decided not to. You decided not to do your job and give justice because you just want to pass the buck and try to grow in a certain party. The issue I have with this really is the fact that instead of doing what's right, you want to do what's right by the people that are standing by your right. Like, you would rather rub elbows with somebody than do what's right. And like, what kind of society do we live in where instead of you doing what's right, you would rather do something for somebody who's who's trying to kind of push you and back you. And the thing that sucks is like, I would hate to do this and then lose what profit to gain the whole world and lose your soul. And like, not this may sound weird, but the black community is your soul.
Oh no, it doesn't sound weird at all.
The black community is your soul. And what's funny with one of the days when he was supposed to be doing his job, he was having this anniversary party,
an engagement
party
to this lily white woman,
and there were no black people there, like none, not one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
what was your mama?
Right. Daddy, cousins, somebody like nobody was there. So to me, it's the fact that like you really wanted to profit. You're gaining the world. You're gaining this, this rising star, and literally turning your back on people who would support you. Now, I guarantee you, I'm understanding because he won like 57% of the votes to get the attorney generalship. I don't know if the generalship, but the position as the attorney general.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
I'm pretty sure we voted for him just because he was black. Like a good piece of that. Even if he was Republican, we were like, you know what? He's a Republican, but I'm pretty sure as a black man, he's not going to turn his back on justice for black people. And sure enough,
he did it anyway.
He just did it anyway. So, David Cameron, shame on you. Like I really don't have any respect for what you didn't do, because you didn't do anything. I have no respect for what you didn't do, because you really did not do anything. And in all these times, this months of, us hundreds of days of trying to plead and beg and bring attention to getting this young lady justice who didn't do anything wrong. She did nothing wrong. She literally did nothing wrong. And she ain't had no record like they always try to bring up and all that kind of stuff. She did nothing wrong. She did not get justice, and the blame is solely on you. It's nobody else. It's on you, because you have the opportunity, you have the power to bring justice and give justice to somebody, and you did not do it. And I'm not trying to belabor the point, but when we ask for people and try to give black people in certain seats and certain spaces and opportunities, to do things, and not necessarily just for black people, but to make sure we're getting equal justice, not better treatment, but equal justice. She did not even get equal justice. She didn't get any justice at all. And that's my issue. David Cameron, again, I don't like to call people trash, but you did some trash stuff right now.
Oh, I don't have you, David Cameron. You're trash. Along with Charles Schwartz, of the CEO of Wells Fargo, both of y'all are trash. You can go into the same dumpster that I got sitting in my backyard and be picked up on Tuesday morning because you're both trash. Alistair Brian want to be PC. I won't. You're both trash. You're trash.
You're trash, man of God. You're trash.
And you're black. Remember that.
You're black, brother. You're black, bro. Like, for real. Like, do you not understand you're black? Like, you really are.
I don't, because I don't think he understands, because there's also have been videos there where his skin has gotten increasingly lighter over the years. So he'll probably be looking like Sammy Sosa.
So self-hating black people. We didn't even talk about that at some point. Black people that don't like black people.
Ooh, I got a lot to say. Because I have a friend. Anyway, I won't go there. That's a whole nother conversation. But thank you all. That wraps up this episode of The Jigsaw. Thank you for sticking in here with us. We really want to appreciate all of y'all who have been listening and subscribing and sharing it with your friends and your family and your kinfolk and your enemies and everybody else in between. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do this without y'all.
Not at all. So I definitely want to thank our listeners again. Please, if you can, like Josh said, please, if you go on our follow our Instagram page, tag as many people that if you listen to this show and you legit feel that somebody would like the show, just tag them in the comments and say, hey, you need to listen to this broadcast or this podcast, because it's definitely life changing. Again, like Josh said, go on there, give us the rating 5 stars. Whoever did that for, you can go where David Cameron goes. But like it, share it, support us. You can follow me. Follow us at the Jigsaw Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at I am Brian Hare. You can follow Josh where?
And I am Josh Rogers.
All right. And also make sure that we are doing the P.O. Box segment. So please start sending your questions. And we're ready to send that to the Jigsaw Podcast.
Yep. For now, send it to the email address. So the thejigsawpodcast@gmail.com.
And we are definitely looking forward to hearing those questions. So we can, have some fun there as well. Do you have anything else to say, Josh?
Nope. No announcements. Nothing big for me this week.
Okay. Well, please tell the people what they need to do.
What they need to do is, as crazy as it is, please, y'all, please don't let this life stress you out. Because all you can do is what you can while you can. But in the midst of doing that, don't you dare get caught with your work undone.
Don't you dare do it.
That's it. All right. We love y'all. See y'all next week.
Love y'all. Peace.